you want the good things then, best believe you have to do the good things then. Now, in my business, I'm trying to run a crochet business. There's so much I've learned so far. There's so much I've decided I'm not going to do, and there are some things I know I'm definitely going to do. Now, there was this event locally, a business event that will teach us some stuff and let us know what is out there for us as small business owners. And when I was heading there, I was thinking, what are some of the things I learned from trying to start a previous business? I started a previous business, Shanna's Swimsuit, etc., where I was selling retail swimsuits and swimsuit items, the beach stuff. And here are 3 things that stood out for me. 1, I must always have my tools, my goods, my products in stock. So if I'm doing crochet right now, I definitely need to have my yarn, my needles, my whatever it is I need to produce. Also, I've also lost out on sales because persons stop and they want to know what do I have inside and ready-made so that they can select and choose from those. So I'm working on, number 1, making sure I always have items and my stock in place. Number 2, you see your friends them and your family them, and all of them mean you're good. Fortunately for me, for my family, they're very supportive. They pay for whatever that I am selling, whatever services anything I've made for them, crochet, they have paid for it. But not all of them are the same thing. Neither are your friends. So 2, the lessons to take away. Do not sell your items. Do not let your target audience be your family or friends. Best believe they were very much willing to spend thousands of dollars on goods or items or even services from persons that they don't know, because they already have a brand that they know, but they won't spend their money to help uplift you. Yeah, so for this business and what I learned from my previous business, Mr. Trust dead. You know that sign I always go a shop to see? Mr. Trust dead. Well, it dead right here. So I will no longer, and I have no longer being selling anything on you soon come for or you soon pay for. Is either you pay down for it or you pay full price before you get it. Because there's no way you're going to go to Mr. Shein or whatever online store, whatever walk-in store that you go to and say, I can pay you next week for this and walk out with the goods. That's not gonna happen, right? So in my business, it not gonna happen. And number three, and I think one of the most important is not give up on what you're trying to do. Don't quit. I mean, for my previous business, because apart from trusting out all of my things them and not be able to pay back for my stock and all of that, one of the things that got the best of me was giving up. Because it didn't flourish in a 3 months, 6 months, whatever the time frame I had set at the time, I decided that this wasn't working. Well, in truth, it was just me not revamping and coming again. And do not give up on your business. Do not give up on anything that you want in life. Just keep at it, and time is the master of all. Now, with those 3 points aside, there are some things that I learned at the event. There are plenty of organizations, public, private sectors here that are willing and able to help us in our businesses. So make sure you register your business with the Companies Office of Jamaica. That opens a wide range of things for us. It gives you access to business events such as the one I went to. Outside of those 3 major lessons that I learned from my previous business that I want to carry over to this business, at this business event the other day, I learned a couple things. I learned that there are a lot of business entities, there are a lot of private public sector entities here in Jamaica that are willing and able to help us grow our business. They want to see it flourish, of course, for the beneficial of theirs, some little money going to fit them pocket too. But they're there, a lot of them are here for hand holding so that they can get you from point A to point B. So the first thing you need to do is register your business with the Companies Office of Jamaica. Simple. Make sure nobody else can take your name and run with your name and start a business under a name that you wish to have for yourself. 2, registering your business opens you to other opportunities. It opens you to the loans from the other banks. It opens you to other business events that you can learn. If it's that you're selling goods, it opens up you access to being able to register at a pop-up shop where you can display your items and such like that. I also learned from the Bureau of Standard booth that there are lots of things out there also that they will hold your hand and carry you from point A to point B. They want to ensure that if you're doing a product with labels, they have a standard for labeling. If you're making any food items, they are able to guide you on the requirements. They have a whole library at their location where you are able to access these information. And for my business in particular, they actually have a standard for clothing items in terms of sizing. So if I want to make ready-made swimsuits, right, there's a standard for size A. So they have a standard for the bust, the hip, the waist, etc. So there are lots of things out there for us. Those were the 2 main main desk that I stopped at. I stopped at a bank. This was J&N Bank, and they have loans as small as $20,000. 20,000 Jamaican dollars. They have loans as low as that, so that you can get your tools and whatever smaller items you might need to start your business. So for me, if I wanted to that option, that $20,000 would have been fine for me, because all I would need is to just buy yarn, right? And probably storage for those yarns. So there are ways and means to go about it. So take a listen, I should say, on the main speaker of the evening. And if you have learned anything from what I've said, and even from the speaker, please comment down below how you will apply this in your business. And also, if you're interested in the full event from start to finish, I will link that event in the description box below.
I appreciate why, and I think that the outturns that you heard from the various stakeholder partners have indicated to you the type of policy direction that we have taken as a ministry, and where we see the role of small and medium tourism enterprise in building the capacity of tourism to provide the service levels that are required and to enable a broader spectrum of experiences. But I wanted to add something to that. I wanted to add that it is not now just about broadening the spectrum of experiences, but it is to deepen the value of the experiences. Because we have decided that our thrust in recovery is not about the competitive nature of the past. That tourism's recovery, for it to be meaningful and to be strong and effective for us and to contribute more to the growth of our economy, has not to be a reset, but a reimagining. And in reimagining, it means new ideas. It means innovation. It means capacity to pivot and to adapt, to be responsive on a moment's notice, indeed in nano time, to the changes that are taking place in the market and in the global community. The future, with all of those psychosocial, tendencies and properties, is not an easy task, and it requires all of government and all of society all of humanity. So the world is into a new phase of trying to manage and understand itself as Anthropocene Earth morphs into another dimension of man's existence on planet Earth. Science are called the anthropause. That's this 2.5 years when little or no activity took place across the world. When the planes weren't flying, so the skies were nice and clean. When the ships weren't sailing, so the sea was nice and the fish had a wonderful time to grow. And the hunters were not in the wild, so the animals were able to roam nicely, procreate, and so on and so forth. But something has happened. Production stopped. Supplies movement stopped. Logistics became a nightmare. And now that science has helped us to understand a little better the pandemic and respond a little more effectively to the virus, we haven't put a solution yet, but at least we're managing a little better. Man is again able to act and to move, so we are in what we now call the anthropause, where people are active again. Ships are moving, planes are flying, borders are open, activities are taking place. But the psychosocial impact of this pulse has created a demand, a pent-up demand, that's driving a pressure on supplies that is unprecedented. And so what we're ending up with is what is called the supply chain disruptions, where people are moving, but they can't move because the planes are not flying in the way it should, because the pilots are not back, and the stewardesses are not back, and the ships are not moving. Our crews say they want 90,000 employees. 90,000. Look at Jamaica is trying to find 10, maybe 20, who knows. And we can go on and on and on. Our manufacturers, John, are telling you that the ingredients are not coming because the war in the Ukraine has stopped the various types of ingredients that move around. The energy crisis is on, and then comes hyperinflation and the threat of global recession. Gathering. And why we bring all the stakeholders together today is to understand the need that we see for building resilience and capacity of our small and medium players and partners who are at the heart of tourism. 80% of the value of the experiences of tourism worldwide is driven by small and medium enterprises. However, is that less than 20% of the returns of tourism go to this sector. So as we rebound and reimagine, we're bringing a new dynamism to that process. And we are trying to rebalance that anomaly, that asymmetry that exists in favor of our small and medium enterprises. That's why we developed the strategy to train, develop your skills, broaden your horizon and your creative capacity to be able to produce more, better, higher quality, more efficiencies that creates price points that are competitive. Second, financing. And my goodness, you've heard the reports. We put $1 billion in the Exim Bank. You heard Lisa Bell. She has unlent 1.5 billion already, with 620 partners, players who have taken up loans, and she still has 500 million to unlend because it's a revolving scheme. And what it meant is that you pay back. That's good. We put 200 areas that you can draw on to enable the economic resilience building that is so critical to the future of your growth and the economy of Jamaica. And the third and critical pillar on which our policy is predicated is marketing. And although we did not have today in this mix the marketing gurus telling you about what we've done on JTB, to tell you about the platforms that have been established to enable your products to be presented, we can talk very seriously about the digital space that is now available, and you heard much about that this morning, and the fact that the post-pandemic era and its development is going to be heavily influenced by the digital revolution. So to enable you to insert yourself fully in this future, you have to become not only cognizant of, but to become particularly au fait with, and develop the ability to manipulate the cognitive systems. Because they are going to be the new drivers of the future, not just of tourism, but of much of the world. Your secrets are no longer Victoria's, I'm sorry. It's now everybody's, as communication moves from the center to the peripheries. And the influence and influencers multiply and are now from anywhere and everywhere. And your child is now consuming information and data and practices and patterns and ideas and values that you have no clue about at 5 and 4 and 3 and 6 and 7. They know more than you. So this new age of knowledge that has emerged as a result of digitalization is forcing small and medium enterprises like yourself to manufacture ideas. I want to put a minute on that, to manufacture ideas. Because it is ideas that is now going to give you that power to add value to the process and to distinguish yourself from everything and everyone. I want you to recognize that in you, every one of you, is that power to drive the change. And the power is called ideas. And so we are investing in ideas. And as part of the strategy, and I was very pleased to hear the UNESCO presentation, because it comports so well with what we are doing in the TEF through the innovation incubator that we've established. We have $31 million for this year's budget to do just that, to go and mine ideas, to find young people all across Jamaica with ideas, because tourism is driven by ideas. When I travel, people ask me the first question, what's new, what's different, what's fresh? When I come to Jamaica, what will I see that I can't see anywhere else? The only way that we can secure that is by building on ideas. So when you said you invest in certain equity and in-kind assets, you just need to add to it, we invest in ideas. And that's it. And we want to invest more and more in ideas. Our banks must begin to invest in ideas. Because Jamaica's future is not about the tried and proven. It's about the value added. It's about the new and the different. I say to you, small and medium players, my industry, and I say it with a little bit of humility, but a little bit of pride. My industry is the only one that any idea and every idea has an equal chance of being monetized. And I was in Dubai the other day. And we were talking about this very thing, and I said to them, tourism is the only industry where a guy with this foolish idea of making two crustaceans race, crab race, can make money. You go to the hotel and you see crab race, snail race, anything. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to get wealth from tourism. You just need to have ideas and convert those ideas into material things with a value
Until next time, see you in my next video.